Hello, okay. Now, we've looked at how fractions can be shown of a whole using a shape. Okay, so if I've got my shape there, and I split it into groups there, I might have a rectangle. Oh. Okay, so when we're taking a whole, okay, we can split it down into its different parts. However, fractions can also be fractions of amounts or fractions of quantities. So not just of one cake or one chocolate bar. Okay, you might have a question that looks a bit like this, and you'll see them all the time in our arithmetic. Okay, so you might have a question which says 1/4 of 16. Okay, 1/4 of 16. Now, 16 is our amount. We're trying to find a fraction of that amount. We're not working with 1 anymore. Okay, we're thinking of our amount. So I've got, throwing them everywhere, 16 deans here. Okay, to think of them as their amount. Okay, in a test they might be marbles, they might be in the most recent one we did, they were packets of crisps, they might be flowers, they could be anything, but think of it as an amount. Okay, so if we're thinking of 1/4 of 16, our denominator tells us how many parts we need to put that into. Okay, so we can start by thinking of our 4 parts. Okay, now think back to the equal parts video. Okay, you can do it by physically sharing out your parts of your amount, or you might doing a divide. Okay, so I'll leave that there for you to think about. What are you going to divide here? But I'm going to start, I'm going to think, I've got my 16, I'm going to share that out into my 4 parts. Quick check, just to see that they're equal. I've got 4 there, 4 there, 4 there, 4 there, because if they're not equal, okay, it hasn't been done correctly. Okay, now, I've done my 16, I've divided it by 4, so I've taken my quantity, I've divided it by my denominator. Okay, now our numerator tells me how many I'm looking at. Okay, so in this case it's 1/4, so I'm only looking at one of those groups. Okay, so I've got them there. So 1/4 of 16 is 4. Okay, and if we do our 16 divided by 4, you will get 4. Okay, so you've got them there. But I'm going to change it slightly now, because it might be written in a slightly different way. I'm going to stick with my 16, I'm going to stick with my 4. Okay, but this time we're going to think, what would 3/4 of 16 be? Now we've done the first step, because I've still got to divide my 16 into my 4 groups, because that's what my denominator tells me. But this time, instead of looking at one group, I need to look at 3 of those groups. Okay, so now I haven't just got 4 anymore, because I'm not looking at one group. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3/4 of 16 is 12. And this is where I said 16 divided by 4 would give me 1/4, but I'd need 3 lots of that 4 now. So 3 times 4, because it's 3 lots of that 1/4, equals 12. And that's where a lot of people miss out that stage. They do this division, okay, but then they forget, oh, I need 3 lots of that. Okay, so remember that stage. That's easily missed if you're doing your division there. Okay, but that's how we think of our fractions of quantities.